My presentation going to be primarily on how the trend on the various assets classes of Indian real estate is growing and how it is going to contribute to the kitchen industry. I always believe that kitchen is the heart of any home, and it used to contribute around 5 to 8% of the spaces which used to cover. But now the trend has grown, and around it contributes 13% of the space which the home owners buys. Very interesting fact is, as Anarock, we sell around 20,000 units every year. And when we are selling 20,000 units, we personally interact with 2 million consumers, 2 million customers. And these are all customers who come to the site and visit the projects of any of the developers. And their behavior towards the kitchen and what is the new aspiration they have as far as kitchen is concerned. These are some of the data which I'm going to show. As I said, the utility space in modern day apartments primarily adds another 3 to 5%, primarily because there has been a huge demand for the luxury apartment post the COVID or pandemic. There has been a huge upsurge on the demand for the larger spaces. And when we are talking about the larger spaces, there is a large demand for the kitchen area. And primarily, when we interact with the consumer or the customers, their primary concern, everyone, when they come with their wife or girlfriends, the prime demand is, okay, we want to have a larger space in the kitchen. Primarily because they wanted to have much more efficient, much more technology oriented kitchen and appliances to be installed in the kitchen area. When we are interacting with the consumer, the customers primarily embraced modular kitchens as a standard because majority of the buyer today are the younger aspirants, younger buyers. They primarily, earlier it used to be 45, 55 was the age of the home buyers. Today, if you look at it, primarily post-pandemic, the average age of the home buyers has gone down, and it is now at around 28 to going up to 40 years. This was the demand. That is the reason why we have seen upsurge in the demand for the Indian real estate. So what are their aspirations on the kitchen side? Basically, one, they wanted to have a premiumization, the design, which is basically the size of the kitchen, the shape, and the need of the kitchen has to be fulfilled. There should be new age technology. People are demanding mostly the recent technologically driven ecosystem as a solution. People are preferring more and more of modular kitchens, smart kitchens, and seamless cookings. The industry, as an industry, I think the Indian kitchen appliance industry is growing at a CAGR of around 9 to 10% during last, if you start from 2023 to 33, it's going to grow at around 9%. If you take that CAGR growth, the market capitalization of the appliance industry is going to be around $11.5 billion. You can see that the market opportunity is huge for the appliance industries. Similarly, on the modular kitchen industry, the market cap going to be much more even than the appliance industry. This is going to be a $13.57 billion of market opportunity is there only in India, and it's growing at around 24% on a CAGR between 2024 to 2029. So there is a huge amount of aspiration, especially from the Indian younger population on the aspiration side. That's giving us an opportunity for all the industry leaders. What are the major enabler for such a huge demand on the especially from the real estate side? Because in 2025, around 3.3 lakhs units to be sold on the residential. 160 million square feet of supplies is under construction on the office side. This is a great opportunity for furniture industry, especially on the wood. The recent trends are, these are some of the trends have been sustainable woodens, sustainable modular furnitures is the need of the hour, because many of the organizations are aspiring for the net zero carbon emission policy. So they are more and more demanding these sustainable modular office furnitures. On the retail side, there has been consistent growth over the period of 30 million square feet of new supply, which is going to come in. And there is a growing demand for F&B, which is also going to give an opportunity for the kitchen industry. And also industrial, there are a lot of demand for industries within the India, and that also gives an opportunity for kitchen to grow. I'm going to now share the different asset classes where the demand is going to come in. Especially the new trends which are emerging primarily, which has shaped the Indian real estate in the last 4-5 years. Housing sales have stabilized. There's a consistent demand for around 4 to 5 lakhs units in India. Last year, the demand for the residential housing was around 4.8 lakh square feet has been built, which has been sold, which is 4% lesser than the unit which was sold in 2023. Similarly, luxury housing continued to be shine. There is on the price side, there has been a huge upswing on the residential housing units. There is the lowest ever inventory overhang now. Retail continued to boom. There is not enough supply to meet the demand, growing demand of the retail industry. And there is a lot of land is being purchased by the developers for fulfilling the growing demand of the aspiring India in order to have a housing for everyone. So that has been the new trend. India continued to grow. There is a continued demand for the real estate. It's growing at, it's going to touch around $1,000 billion market on the real estate side. It's continued to contribute to the GDP. Its share currently is at around 13% is coming from real estate. It's also supporting around 250 ancillary industries like, it's also contributing largely on the employment generation, and also, FDI coming into Indian real estate continue to grow. On the office space, commercial office space, last year has been one of the fantastic years. 85 million square feet of gross absorption took place. The developers continue to pour in cements to cater to the growing demand on the office side. And there's a huge amount of surge on the demand, which will definitely, help you guys in setting up the kitchen, setting up the food outlets within the office spaces, which will also create a growing demand for the kitchen industry. Only thing is that now, the preferences of or the occupiers' demand has been, sustainable furnitures, which basically support them in creating that net zero carbon emission. On the retail sector, as I said, it's continue to support, continue to grow. Retail, there has been a huge demand from various retailers, but the challenge is there are not enough supplies coming into the market. But if you look at on the retail side, the 16 to 18% of the demand is coming from F&B sector. In every development on mall or post-pandemic, there has been people's tendency is to go and have food outside the home. So because of which there has been huge food outlet which has opened, which is also helping this industry to grow. And there is going to be this demand of having F&B in various malls, various offices, and various industrial and logistics sector. This will help in creating the demand for this industry. On the residential side, as I said earlier, it's continued to grow, supply continue to emerge. There are cities where we see continuous growth for the demand on residential real estate. If you look at Hyderabad, Mumbai and Pune, has shown some decline on the demand, but all other geographies continue to push, continue to increase their demand for residential houses, which helps this industry in providing various support system. Similarly, prices, as I said, prices has also increased over a period of time. It has increased really, which pushed ultra luxury segment. If you look at some of the demand which is coming in, look at this. It used to be ultra luxury used to be around 17-18% of that total supply which was used to come. Now the ultra luxury segment demand has gone up to around 31%, which is the biggest jump what we had seen post-pandemic. This is where efficient kitchen, the spacious kitchen with a lot of appliances coming into that space will help this industry in growing their aspirations. Similarly, as I said, when you are looking at the category of developer or the demand which is going to come in, primarily is from the listed developer. If you look at it in this chart, the listed developers contribute around 17% of the supply into the market. I think what we need to target, these 17% of the developers who are continue to come with a lot of project, lot of supplies, and this is where you should be targeting. These are the developers who will be, they are really credit worthiness people. They're the ones who can pay you timely, and this is where the lot of demand is going to come. They are the ones who are going to continue to launch the project. Similarly, there are other assets classes which are in demand. I don't want to get into details, but these are the other assets classes where you can see the demand going to come in. One is, as I said, warehousing and logistic, 150 million square feet of new industrial and logistic parks which are going to come in. This gives you an opportunity. Similarly, data center, 11 million square feet across India, 13 million square feet to be added in next 3 months. Co-living, we had seen outside there are a lot of co-living players who have put their stalls outside. 5.7 million beds by 2025. Student housing. Again, this is another opportunity for this industry to cater to. 6 lakhs additional beds of students housing is going to come in just next 3 to 4 years. Similarly, senior housing is the another concept wherein the elderly populations to rise 41% in the next few years. So what are some of the outlook we like to do? I spoke, as the economy continued to grow, there's a greater opportunity for industry to grow, greater opportunity for real estate to grow. There's that continuous demand for the real estate. The assets classes are continued to grow. I do not see any kind of an impact on the real estate side in next 2 to 3 years. There could be a price correction, but demand for the real estate continued to be strong, continued to be buoyant, and there will be huge amount of opportunity for all of us to create niche in this market. So key takeaways, I think size of the kitchen are likely to increase as luxury segment again gains momentum. The market size of the modular kitchen to rise. The market size of the appliance industry continue to grow. Growing demand for commercial office spaces to generate demand for storages and appliances. F&B retail to stimulate demand for commercial kitchen because there is going to be a huge demand for F&B. As the sector grows, it will continue to demand for hardware, storage and appliances, and there will be a huge huge shift in the alternative assets classes, which is also going to create huge demand for this industry. So guys, that's what the real estate is all about. These are some of the supplies which is going to come into the market. This will create huge demand for the for this industry. I do hope that this will help you in defining the future. This will give you insight on what's happening on the real estate and where you need to target as an industry for your own benefit. So thank you so much for giving me an opportunity, Deepak ji, and thanks all for patiently hearing my address to all of you. Thank you.